So we have to talk about victims' rights. SLV, the San Luis Valley. We have to talk about victims' rights. Why? Because that entire Alonzo Payne debacle, even though Alonzo Payne isn't on the ballot, he actually still is he not? Alonzo Payne and his office had admitted to the following conduct, and they accepted responsibility for number one. The DA's office repeatedly failed to treat victims with dignity and respect. My God, they didn't give a shit about victims. They didn't give a flying fuck about the victims at all. At all. Oh, yeah, you got your dog ran over. Who gives a shit? The assistant DA yelled and verbally abused victims in meetings where the DA knew about the conduct but took no action or apologized to the victims. Huh? Tecumseh snapped his neck, huh? Gruesome, bloody, disgusting. Felony. Clearly a felony, huh? The assistant DA, is that Ricardo Rivera? Ricardo Rivera was like, these are some serious charges. That damn Robert Pickerel, I don't know if he told him to call the police or what, but Robert Pickerel had called me a cop caller. What happened to Mr. Cop Caller? What are you, some sort of cop caller? Yeah, of course, I'm not a criminal piece of crap, so when I see... Why wouldn't I call the police? Why would I not call the police, you cop caller? Well, who's the cop caller now, huh? Pickerel. Where the hell is Pickerel? I got a whole bunch of questions for him. The assistant DA yelled and verbally abused victims in meetings. What the hell is the DA's office doing? You know the best way to flip the script on Alonzo Payne and him not giving a shit about the victims? Give way too much of a fuck about the victims. Care too much about the victims. Call them day in and day out. Take them out for pizza. You know, call them in the mornings, email them, make sure, tweet a funny meme towards them, at them. No wonder people talking at each other on Twitter. Payne left messages with victims after disagreeing on how cases should be handled. Oh, he left left messages. Alonzo Payne left meetings with victims. Oh, yeah? No, this case shouldn't be handled that way. Alonzo Payne refused to answer questions from victims and refused written victim impact statements. I don't want that victim impact statement. Why would he refuse? Refuse to answer questions. He's being so ornery. Why? I don't understand. Alonzo Payne refused to speak with some victims altogether. You know, one man's oyster is another man's, cup of tea. Alonzo Payne had accused some of the people that Robert Willett had convicted of being victims. And so really, it's a matter of perspective. And so I wonder with each one of these cases, it seems like they all should have gone to trial or something because we're not getting any kind of determination of facts. All we're doing is arguing about the law. We're trying to get some plea bargain, and then nobody's actually talking about, there's no determination of facts. If you have a bench trial, I guess they could have a determination of facts in a preliminary hearing. But usually the trier of fact would go to the jury. And if we're not doing jury trials, well then, one person's victim is another person's culprit. And that one principle said that both people are usually involved. One person was a perfect victim. One person just didn't do anything to nobody, huh? Just sitting there all nice and eating an apple and reading a little book and just didn't do nothing to nobody. There actually was one case. I heard of this one case where this one person hit this other person for no reason whatsoever. The other person was just walking down the way. Another person just came up and just clocked him. And I used to think, that is a perfect victim situation. And I was like, God, who would ever just want to clock somebody? But if you've ever been in, some trials and tribulations and you see somebody else just whistling while they work, it can get under your skin. But in terms of them actually doing anything specifically to you, they didn't do anything to you. And that is a perfect victim. You were just walking. You didn't stick your tongue out. You didn't cuss at them. I didn't even know who they were. They came out from the 5th floor. And they climbed all the way down the Emergency ladder. Yep. The DA's office failed to consult with the victims over plea deals or agreements. You know, I mean, my God. He's just one guy. The DA's office would notify victims of their plans to submit a plea on the day of the court hearing, leaving no time to consult victims about legal steps. Attorneys for the DA's office inform victims that they do not represent the victims and do not need their assistance on cases. So that's no good, right? But he admitted to all that, so that's interesting. Admitted to the following conduct and accepted responsibility for all the conduct. He does not seem like a good lawyer. He doesn't seem like he was a good lawyer. It seems like he let all the criminals get away, and then the nice people, he tried to fuck them over. Oh, you're nice and you like me and you support me? Not only did he not give a damn about the people who had victimized me, but he went above and beyond to... So there's no way that the complainant, in my case, can say that Alonzo Payne did a bad job. Alonzo Payne went above and beyond. There's a couple things that we could complain about Alonzo Payne on. The complainant didn't want any jail time. And I didn't hear about that until the new DA came in. So how come that message didn't come through? They're trying to take some tiny little thing and make it as big as they could. Meanwhile, the complainant, I feel like a lot of times there's just, people just kind of dig their heels into the ground when a court case like this comes up. But I wonder if you cared about mediation and actually, restorative justice. I guarantee you there could have been a middle person, if not a mediator. What else? There's something else I was thinking of. So there you go. Alonzo Payne is going to, resign, and then he's going to lose his fucking law license. So that's Sonny Corleone kick in the mouth right there. And I'm kind of afraid that Alonzo Payne is going to fuck it up for progressives from here on out. Robert Willett said he is not a progressive. So we know he's a right-wing conservative. He's all about narcotics. He thinks marijuana is a narcotic. Yeah, okay, is caffeine a narcotic? Caffeine's actually probably more of a narcotic than... But he also doesn't give a shit about, Tecumseh. So what am I trying to say here? We need to talk about victims' rights. Okay, so victims' rights. We have a lot of victims' rights. It's actually part of the Constitution of Colorado. And one of the victims' rights is the right to be heard at any court proceeding. The right to be heard at any court proceeding. And so that's quite interesting, don't you think? When I tried to turn in, 5 felony complaints to Michael Gonzalez, he was like, get that off my desk. The right to be heard at any court proceeding. He didn't want to hear about any of the crimes or any of the felonies that had happened to me. He didn't want to hear from the victim. He didn't give a damn about the victim. There's been over 12 times I've seen him, and at no point in time has he ever told me about any of these victims' rights. He knew about several things that had happened to me. Drive-by shootings, some other things. The stalker, the right to access to courts also. Article 2, Section 6. How does Michael Gonzalez not know about the equality of justice? You have the Bill of Rights of Colorado says that courts of justice shall be open to every person. Every single person. So victims' rights says that I have a right to be heard at any court proceeding. At any court proceeding. You're the victim. So come up here and speak. A crime has happened to you. Come up here. Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth. Okay, tell the court what had happened. And did you write it down? Did you bring a signed affidavit? Is it sworn? Sworn and get a notary? Oh, you already got it notarized. You got it signed by a notary. So it's what do they call that? A verified complaint. He denied a verified complaint. So that's not really fair now, is it? Denying a verified complaint. Let's keep on going. Victims' rights. What else has Noble Havens? He's sitting there saying different things than what I'm saying in regard to June 1st, 2020. I don't remember him telling me that I had a right to be heard at any court proceeding. I called him. I called 911. So he needed to tell me about all these victims' rights. So Article 2, Section 6 just says that courts of justice shall be open to every person and a speedy remedy afforded for every injury to person, property, or character, and right and justice should be administered without sale, denial, or delay. So when my dog was murdered and I called Noble Havens, he forgot to tell me about the Article 2, Section 6, that the courts of justice are open to every person, including to me. I want to press charges. He forgot to ask me that. A speedy remedy. He just swept it under the rug. There was no remedy at all afforded for every injury. No, there was an injury, person, property, yep, character. And then right and justice should be administered without sale, denial. No, it was totally denied, totally delayed. And I'm not sure about the sale, but they get paid, right? They're getting paid every day in and day out to fuck us over. Is that what the cops and the jailers and the lawyers and the judges are getting paid to make sure that justice is denied and delayed? Make sure there is no right and correct and true justice, and no goodness, no honorable, decent, restorative justice. Witness means any natural person having knowledge of the existence or non-existence of facts relating to the crime. That's CRS 24 4.13027. Every person, wait a second. Courts of justice shall be open to every person. Yep. In courts of justice. So we're trying to get justice. Courts of, speedy remedy to every person, injury to property, character. No sale, denial, or delay. No shit. So really just hurry the fuck up. Let's get this speedy trial on the road, right? CRS 24 4.13027. Witness means any natural person, A, having knowledge of the existence or non-existence of facts relating to any crime. Do you know what happened? Nope. Do you know what not happened? Yes. Whose declaration under oath is received or has been received as evidence for any purpose. See, who has reported any crime to any peace officer, correctional officer, or judicial officer. Who has been served with a subpoena issued under the authority of any court in the state, of any other state, or of the United States. E, who would be believed by any reasonable person to be an individual described in paragraph A, B, C, or D of this subsection 7 CRS 24 4.1302. So, you're a witness if you have knowledge of the existence or non-existence of facts relating to any crime, whose declaration under oath is received or has been received as evidence for any purpose. So I swear to tell the truth, this is the reason. Who has reported any crime to any peace officer, correctional officer, or judicial officer. Whoever reported any crime, or are we talking about the crime specifically? So if you called 911, then you are definitely a witness without, a doubt, without whether you like it or not. And if you swear under oath and you had said something about a case, then you're a witness too. Who has been served with a subpoena? So if you've said something under oath about the situation, if you have reported the crime or a crime, I guess, that's associated with the area or the people involved, or if you have been served with a subpoena, then you're a witness. So, Alonzo Payne. Where did he go? Alonzo Payne. It's almost like UK politics, right? You had the Queen, then you had that one lady, and then you had that one guy, and then the one lady, and then the one guy again. Just like the DA here, you had the guy, then the other guy, and then the lady, and then the other guy's coming back. The best way to flip the script on Alonzo Payne's misgivings: give all the damns in the world about the victims. Care too much about the victims. Go above and beyond when it comes to the victims. One of the victims' rights statutes is you have a right to be heard at any court proceeding. The right to not be harassed, intimidated, or abused. You ready? Actually, I think I'll just open this up and just dive right into it. Victims' rights coming up, but the right to be heard at any court proceeding, the right to not be harassed, intimidated, or abused, the right to consult with prosecution after a victim has been charged prior to a disposition and prior to the trial of a case, right to be informed by the local police, sheriff, and deputies of the status of the case in time of the next court appearance and other scheduling information and needs.